Has Taylor Swift delivered the final blow to the ridiculous case that Blake Lively filed against Justin Baldoni? And has Taylor forever ruined whatever was left of Blake Lively's reputation? I think she has. And I'm here with you guys to talk about it.
Now, Justin Baldoni, talking about defamation, his legal team has retracted their Taylor Swift subpoena in the legal fight with Blake Lively. Kinsey, why would they do that? Why would Baldoni's legal team let Taylor Swift off the hook?
I'll tell you why, because Taylor Swift's father, Scott Swift, willingly provided the information that they were looking for as part of a deal to prevent his daughter from any further involvement with the Blake versus Justin drama. So they had to agree to withdraw their subpoena, and it's Taylor's father that stepped in and gave them the requested information. Now, he also provided Justin Baldoni's team with the bombshell claim that Blake Lively threatened to leak his daughter's text messages if Taylor did not publicly support her. This gives us exactly the perfect idea of how vicious this truly has become behind the scenes.
Absolutely vicious. And if that's accurate, if her father has done that, then that friendship isn't just a little bit under strain. It's well and truly done and dusted. If Taylor Swift is being threatened with having years of her private text messages released, that's pretty down and dirty.
Yeah, and Scott has defended her so much. Her father, Taylor Swift's father, is a savvy man. He financed her entire career coming up. He has a lot to lose. If Taylor's reputation takes a hit because of Blake, that's years and money down the drain that he's sacrificed. So he is going to stand up and try to protect his daughter.
I do wonder, though, whether some damaging text messages over the years may be leaked out if the Blake Lively side wants to retaliate. I mean, this is just this battle. It was over nothing. They started a fight over something that they should have just allowed to die down. It would have been, the story would have been done in a week or two of Blake Lively being rather unpleasant instead of being America's golden girl. And now it's this massive legal fight that is going to absolutely drain their resources and completely damage their reputations.
So as you guys know, this case has been ongoing now for quite a bit. Blake Lively filed a case where she allegedly claimed that Justin Baldoni sexually harassed her. Initially, when the case came out, we were all kind of just wondering, like, what's this really about? You know, we kind of had like double minds about it, right? We're giving it the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, we were like, this sounds, you know, weird. Until Brian Freeman, Justin's lawyer, started to provide us with evidence and receipt upon receipt showing, allegedly, that all the things that Blake claimed that Justin did to her were false. And that, quite frankly, if we're going to be honest, according to what we saw, allegedly, the reverse is true. You know, in some cases, she was the one that even seemed inappropriate. And we also later allegedly discovered that she may have had ulterior motives as to why she lied against Justin Baldoni. One recurring element in all of her stories and alleged lies is that she kept on name-dropping her former bestie, Taylor Swift. It seemed like she was used to using her to get what she wanted because she's such a powerful and influential person. When she first initially, when we first saw stories about Taylor Swift possibly having been involved in some of the things that Blake Lively did to Justin Baldoni, I was thinking two things in my mind. The first thing is, Taylor is not gonna like this. She's not gonna like that she's being dragged into this mess that Blake has created. And the second thing I was also thinking is, was she really involved? Like, listen, if your best friend comes to you and asks you for favors, it's possible that you grant them. It doesn't mean that you know the details of her plan against Justin Baldoni. And I wasn't super convinced that Taylor knew every single detail. She may have not known some things, but I didn't think she knew the details. And so she probably found out a lot of things as we were finding them out. So I was thinking, there's no way she's happy about all the things that are being said right now about her. And Taylor started to receive backlash as a result of this case. So I'm sure that her and her team were like, we need to have a plan on how we're gonna protect Taylor from this, because this is just coming too close to Taylor. And Taylor, you know, she's a powerhouse. So she has a lot of people trying to protect her interests. Now, fast forward, because you guys already kind of know a lot of the background story. So fast forward to a subpoena that Justin's lawyer recently filed, asking for messages that allegedly Blake and her team sent to Taylor, trying to, I use the word trying to force lightly Taylor to publicly come and support Blake. Basically, publicly say she supports Blake Lively. Now, the moment I saw that subpoena, my lawyer hat came on. There is no way. This is what I said at the time. Even if I didn't say it here, this is what I thought. There is no way Brian Freeman would put in such a subpoena without being sure that such a message existed. And what I also thought is, this is a silent but loud message directed and intended for someone in particular. At the time, I didn't know what we later discovered, but I knew that that was not just a subpoena, that was a message. And I was right, because not too long after that, we have now allegedly discovered that someone reached out to Brian Freeman to basically hand over to him the message that he asked for in the subpoena, while also allegedly saying, now leave Taylor out of everything else. We've given you what you need. Don't ask for Taylor to testify. Don't ask for any other message from Taylor, nothing else. We also have allegedly discovered that somebody reached out to Brian Freeman telling him to request for that message in the first place. So there were two people that reached out. I don't know if it's the same person in both cases, but I think it's probably two different people, because that's what would make sense. Basically saying to him, oh, such message exists, ask for this. And then someone else reaching out and saying, yeah, take the message, leave Taylor out of it. We are hearing that the second person that reached out to give him the message that he was asking for is allegedly Taylor Swift's father, which means Taylor was aware. It was something that they discussed and decided. And it also means, if you ask me, that Taylor has chosen a side, and the side is Justin Baldoni's. Not necessarily because she necessarily cares about Justin. I don't think that that's necessarily the driving factor. I think because it's very, very clear where this case is going. I've said it from the onset. I have read all those documents. In my opinion, Blake has no case because she has no evidence. The law isn't decided or isn't judged or settled based on sentiments. It's settled based on evidence. Justin's team provided more than enough evidence that goes directly against all the claims that Blake made. Blake kept on making claim upon claim, some claims even contradicting each other, and could not provide evidence. So the case for me was already gone or done before it even started. And I think Taylor's team could see that. Taylor's team could see, we need to pick a side and we need to pick the winning side, because our job is to protect Taylor. Something that we also heard, though, that could have led to that final decision that Taylor made is that at some point, Blake Lively reached out to Taylor and asked her to delete specific messages, all allegedly, that she may have sent to her at some point that could implicate her in this case against Justin Baldoni. I'm very careful when I say this because this is all alleged, but let me tell you something. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Why would you ask your friend to delete messages if those messages didn't have something in them that would make it very, very obvious that all the things that Justin said about the way Blake Lively behaved and the alleged lies that she said, that basically Justin is saying the truth. I think whatever was in that message that she wanted Taylor to deliver is a slam dunk. And I don't think that Taylor deleted that message, by the way. Because if I were Taylor, I wouldn't. I would keep it as a, insurance. You never know. And then after you go ahead to ask her to delete the message, you then ask her, allegedly, to support you publicly, or else messages of 10 years that you guys have been sending to each other, you would have no other choice but to possibly have to release them if the court asks you to do that. So it was like a tailored threat delivered to one of the biggest stars, actually the biggest star we have right now. That was dumb. But not only was it dumb, it reinforced my opinion about Blake. I think Blake believes she's someone that she's actually not. You know how somebody can think too little of themselves? Well, the opposite is you think too much of yourself. You think you're somebody that you're not. And listen, that's even worse because that makes you put yourself in situations that you cannot come out from. I think her and Ryan both misjudged who they thought they were. Like, Ryan, I know you do Deadpool and all that, but you're not all that. Blake, you did Gossip Girl and one or two other things. You're both still human beings. You're both still not above the law. And you're definitely not bigger than freaking Taylor Swift, guys. Like, you're not. So the moment you thought of sending, all allegedly, a veiled threat to Taylor Swift, that's when you literally took the nail and boom, went to your coffin with the nail like this. Like, that was when you ended everything. It was very, very close to the end. Like, look, the case was basically useless. But now it's even more useless, if you know what I mean. Now, at this point, I honestly think that Blake and Ryan Reynolds have only two choices. And both choices are career suicide. One choice is to continue with the case, go to the end of it, have Ryan Freeman release the messages that we now know he's allegedly in possession of that would finish whatever is left of Blake Lively's reputation, and Justin would win the case, in my opinion, and everything would be over for Blake Lively's career and Ryan Reynolds, in my opinion. The second choice is to settle out of court, which would mean admitting that you lied against Justin Baldoni, admitting that he's innocent, which would mean agreeing to pay a very huge amount of money, maybe not as big as what they would pay if the case actually went on, but still huge. And it will still probably lead to an end to her career because, I mean, if you admit that you lied, who else is going to want to work with you? The only difference is that one is a long and painful death. The other one is a shorter and painful death. It's what I mean, shorter, I mean, you settle out of court, you're done with it, and now you can go do whatever else with your money because like your career is not there, so you have to think about other things to do. Or you continue going through this case and with everything that's hitting them from left, right, and center to eventually still get to the same end. I don't know what I would choose if I were in her shoes, but realistically, if I were in her shoes, I would have never gone to court when I knew that I was lying. Like, who, come on guys, who does that? You lied. You allegedly lied. When you saw that the lie was beginning to come back to you, that's the moment when you're like, no, I don't want to go to court. Let's just forget about this. Instead, you made the biggest mistake of your life. You went to court because you forgot that you might be rich, you might be famous, but you're not untouchable. You're not untouchable. Honestly, what I think about all of this, and I'm gonna talk more about the powers that be in Hollywood, so many things that have been happening behind the scenes for so many years but are now coming to light, so many cases that have brought things to light that we are now really beginning to see that so much actually goes on behind the scenes. And a lot of the people that some of us think we like because maybe of their movies or things like that are really not who we think they are. I mean, Blake Lively is a perfect example. I'm actually going to do an episode where I talk more about that and I go into details about different stories because I think there's so much to say there. But in this case, at the end of the day, guys, we should all try to be the best versions of ourselves. We are not perfect. It's impossible for us to be perfect, but at least try to be good people. And when we mess up, when we make mistakes, do not waste time in owning those mistakes and trying to do better. Because if you prolong that, and you keep on dragging into even more mistakes, well, you're gonna end up like Blake Lively right now in this case, just in your own life scenario. But that's the same thing. At some point, this lady, this individual, completely lost sense of what is right and wrong. Maybe because she was blinded by the money and the power that she has experienced and that she has. Maybe because she was blinded by her husband, who allegedly was just as bad as her. And think about Taylor Swift, who thought she had a friend in Blake Lively. Seeing that Blake Lively was using her, all allegedly, all these years to get favors, to get people to do what they wanted, what she wanted them to do. Like, I actually feel sorry for Taylor right now. I gotta be honest, I do, because I don't know her personally. We hear different things about her, some good, some bad. But I'm sure that seeing Blake Lively refer to her as her dragon, and seeing how Blake Lively allegedly even lied about Taylor's involvement in all this must have been very, very hurtful. And that's why I think that in this process, Blake hurt a lot of people. Justin Baldoni was just an actor trying to make it big with this movie called It Ends With Us. This was supposed to be his big break in Hollywood. And something that was supposed to be his big break led to almost breaking him completely. All because of one woman called Blake Lively. I do not know Justin personally, but if he sees this, what I really hope is that he knows that sometimes the things that the enemy tries to use to break us are the same things that God is going to use to elevate us. And this is one of those things that I feel like if Justin just holds on, just keeps on going, he will be surprised at what's going to come in his favor after all of this. Because I do not think that there's any movie that Justin would release right now that we wouldn't all rush to go see. I think that there's so many people that didn't know who Justin was that now know who he is and wants to support everything that he does. Not just because of what happened to him, but because, guys, he's actually very, very talented. He did a wonderful job with It Ends With Us, despite Blake Lively's, trying to mess the whole thing up. He did a wonderful job as an actor in Jane the Virgin, and he's done a wonderful job in all his projects. And now we're also seeing how gracefully he is fighting this witch over here. And I think that he should just hold on and see the beautiful light that's going to come through the end of this, at the end of this tunnel. And as for the witch, I call her a witch. I don't know if she's a witch or not, but that's what I call her. As for her, I went to Target the other day, and her products, her hair products, were all the way in the front. You could tell that nobody's buying them. So I think Target was just trying to like sell them off. Like when I saw them, I almost like was like, what's this? I couldn't even stand to see them. And I was like, no one is even buying her products anymore. I do not know anybody that is gonna want to work with Blake Lively after this. This woman, all by herself, with the help of her husband, Mr. Deadpool, ruined her career in an attempt to ruin someone else's career. Talk about karma. This is karma coming back. Take it from me. The case is over. The case is over. Justin is gonna win. You heard it here. Guys, go to the comment section. Tell me what you think. I really want to hear your opinion. I actually love to hear opinions sometimes that are even different from mine, just because I like to see other people's perspective. But if you are supporting Justin, if you see what I see, let me know so we can all know that we're not alone in this. We fought for Justin from the very beginning of this case. We are still here. I said it from the onset. We are Justin's dragons. We are not going anywhere, and we will all rejoice at the end of this because Justin Baldoni is going to come out victorious. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next time.